Welcome guys, this is Ola from Stop Me O channel and I'm back with another Life is Strange Before the Storm video. Now a week ago I made one already, similar to this one. It was Best of Life is Strange. Subjectively speaking, these were my favorite Life is Strange scenes. It was kind of hard because Life is Strange is sort of complex. There's many aspects, many characters, many nice scenes, so it was hard to sort of limit it down to 10 moments. I was kind of lazy. I just picked 10 scenes that came to my mind, with the first scene being an obvious choice. But you can have a look if you wanna. It's on my channel. Now I decided it's time to make another one, Before the Storm one. I've actually attended a party last night, a Depeche Mode party. I probably came home around 4 AM, so might not be at my best today, but we do not make excuses on this channel. Before we start, let me briefly remind you there are links in the description for various social media and Discord server if you want to join and have some discussions with us. Oh, by the way, I hit 3,000 subs last night, so it's amazing. Thank you guys so much. You're truly wonderful. Best of Before the Storm. I thought I wouldn't even be able to gather 10 scenes to present. Probably because it's mostly about Chloe and Rachel. Apart from the obvious scenes that we all know and love, I thought I wouldn't find as many side aspects, so to speak, but turns out I did. So, number 10. I thought it would be nice to start with the scene with a character that's not as liked. When I made a Best of Life is Strange video, I started off with Frank's scene that I really liked, the one that he was kinda like vulnerable in. Right now I want to start with Nathan. This is such a small scene. Basically we can see Nathan being yelled at by his father, Sean Prescott, a powerful guy of Arcadia Bay. I don't know, I know that Nathan is not exactly the same Nathan that we know from Life is Strange. This is Deck 9's vision of Nathan. So he was more likable. I did a video about that already, so I don't want to get into the details, but he was being yelled at by his father and he was practically bullied into taking that role in The Tempest, because it is sort of expected of him to be an actor or be popular or attend events. But the thing is, I really like that scene combined with After The Tempest compilation. We can see Nathan leaving alone, and we know that he hated being in that play. Samantha was waiting for him and they briefly smiled. That was kind of sweet. I like that a lot. That's why that scene made it into my best of. Scene number 9. Obviously most of my moments will involve Chloe and Rachel, and this one is no exception. It's the therapy scene when they were in the car. I especially like that scene because the night before that, when Rachel started the whole fire, they sort of admitted that they had feelings for each other. So now it was sort of sweet and nice because it was still before the kiss, but it was known that the feelings were there. The way that Chloe lied down and they were talking about how Rachel is fake in front of everyone except for Chloe, that was kind of cool. I liked that scene a lot and it gave us much input into Rachel's personality, I think. Probably the most input. Moment number 8. Another Rachel and Chloe moment. This might be one of the few moments that I picked from episode 3, which, as you know, was my least favorite one. The bed scene. But, surprisingly, not the bed scene as an outcome of a kiss, but the bed scene as an outcome of giving Chloe Rachel's bracelet. If you watch that, it's just more intimate somehow. The way they're holding hands. The scene was really nice visually. You know, the stars, the blue with the yellow. It felt very intimate, and they were lying together on the bed as well. Now obviously I expected something different from that scene, but let's not really get into that subject right now. So yeah, even though I expected something else from that scene, I still liked it a lot. From Time's perspective, it was a very cool scene. It really showed how they were close. They were talking about stars and the beauty and all that. Moment number 7. You know, when I initially made that list, I forgot about Farewell. I didn't even consider Farewell as part of Before the Storm. It somehow makes more sense if we treat it as part of Life is Strange, actually. The last scene of Farewell. Yeah, I might sound like I'm some sort of a masochist. We know how sad and how dramatic that last scene was. We saw Max leaving Chloe the day of the funeral, because apparently there is no other moment to leave than the funeral, in Max's parents' mind. Whatever. If you watched my stream, you know that I had a massive breakdown during that moment. I don't remember having that much of a breakdown over a game's character like ever. Yeah, it really, really broke me. I think the song made it perfect. I think they didn't cross the line between being sad and emotional and dramatic and being over the top with those feelings, like the 17 missed phone calls deal. I did not like it at all. It wasn't nice and cool. I did like the Farewell last scene. Apparently the developers stated that they're not even sure if it was the right choice to include that 17 missed phone calls scene. Hint, it wasn't a good choice. But you still made a fabulous game, by the way. Farewell, I think it was a perfect amount of emotions. It was very sad, but it was smartly handled, and overall I enjoyed it. That scene had to make it to the top because of the impact it had on me. And I guess on all of you as well. One more thing about Farewell ending. I know that it had its inconsistencies. I know that from what we found out from Life is Strange that they didn't exactly look like this. And I know that they were trying to manipulate us and they were trying to make us cry. I know all that, but it's like, I'm alright with that, I'm buying it. I think William Heller made a video about Farewell's inconsistencies, but we're not here to talk about that. Moment number 6. That's the entire Sarah story. I really liked the way it was handled. The darkness surrounding them and those little moments that Rachel was traveling through from one to another. As I said before, it reminded me of Tale of Three Brothers in Harry Potter, the way it was handled, in that I guess it was a Japanese sort of a style of animation. And music made it sort of sophisticated as well. I think it was the most artistic scene in entire Before the Storm. Very nicely handled. It was a good idea overall to present that story in that way. Yeah, I admired that. That was a very good moment. Moment number 5. That would be Rachel burning down the forest. Because apparently she cannot handle her emotions quite well. You know how it is. You get pissed off, you get disappointed, you go and you burn down the forest. I think the music made it more powerful. I think it was the song Flaws. That Daughter song made it perfect. And I know that that song has a big impact on you as well. Lorenzo Tonelli recorded the cover of that song for me. And anytime I use that, you guys are like, that song. Yeah, that song is very emotional. I like that scene. Anytime Life is Strange folks make a compilation scene as a final scene of the episode, it's really nice when you can see everyone in their own home or wherever they are at the moment, doing their own stuff, usually being influenced by episode's events. The entire scene was nice. First, it was quiet, just Chloe and Rachel under the tree, then burning down the photo, and then Rachel going rogue. Pretty nice moment. Moment number 4. The train scene, episode 1. Some people claim that Brave New World, so episode 2 is their favorite episode, probably because of the Tempest and the kiss. But personally, I think I liked episode 1 a little bit more. Mostly because I really liked the way they handled Rachel and Chloe's relationship. The way it started like that, the way they communicated, the way it was handled, it was very simple and very easy, yet you know that there's a bond there. Mentioned this many times before, but it reminded me of these movies Before the Sunrise and Sunset trilogy, when the two characters were just walking around different cities and talking, and that's pretty much it. That's why I like that train scene. It was very easy, the way they were listening to music together and talking. Honestly, if the entire episode was just that for 2 hours, I would be totally fine with that. Now, top 3. I think I might surprise you with my number 1. Let's get to it. Number 3, The Tempest. I think this might be a scene that many people would pick as a favorite one, and I totally understand that. It was beautiful visually, Shakespeare's language, vocabulary, that was something. Basically the entire metaphor behind it. So Chloe and Rachel sort of deciding that they're going to leave together and, agreeing on stage. I loved playing that. I loved the idea behind it. I liked how the developers used Shakespeare Tempest as sort of a background story for that particular moment, and how you can find comparisons between roles and people. Now this is such an obvious choice. It's when you think of Before the Storm, you think of that moment. Overall, Before the Storm was a pretty good game. I know that people criticized it, but when I was going through those moments, there's so many really powerful scenes. Like moment number 2. You'll be surprised that this is not my number 1 moment. I mean, it is in a way. I'd say those two, my number 1 and number 2, go together, but I had to decide to put the kiss as a second moment. In a way, it's my favorite moment of Before the Storm. I've talked so much about that kiss. I feel like there's nothing more to say, really. I don't really need to explain to you how powerful that moment was, how emotional. The way they kissed, the way they handled that kiss visually, with the music, with the ashes falling from the sky, and the empty streets and the street lights. In a way, that's my number 1. But I had to go with something else. My top moment, my favorite moment, would be the Junkyard Scene from episode 1. This is when I knew that Before the Storm would be very important in my life. That scene, when Chloe and Rachel were talking and they were arguing. Rachel wanted to leave because she just found out that her father is cheating on her mother, sort of, and she was broken, yet she wasn't ready to share that information with Chloe. And Chloe was very confused. She didn't understand what's happening. I mean, they just spent the most fantastic day, and Rachel's like, I have to go, leave me alone. But what I actually liked most about that scene was where the aftermath, when Rachel left. Not very far, but she did leave. Chloe grabbing that bat, baseball bat, and just smashing everything. It was very dramatic, very powerful. I felt very sad for Chloe. I mean, entirely Before the Storm sort of sucked for Chloe. Farewell as well, except for maybe her being able to kiss Rachel. As she was smashing stuff, she stumbled upon her father's car, William's car, the one he died in. As I saw that, it was like someone punched me or something. It was very emotional. I mostly picked that moment as my number 1 moment because this is exactly when I fell in love with Before the Storm, that particular moment. As I was playing it, I had tears in my eyes, and that scene had a big impact on me. This scene made me wait for episode 2 so eagerly. This is why I had to pick it. The kiss was my favorite moment, in a way, but that junkyard scene, it led me to that kiss. That junkyard scene is often on my mind. That's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that list. I know that you'll probably have a different order, but hey, it's personalized. You can pick whatever you want, and I'll totally understand that, because we all have our reasons for picking certain scenes over others. Let me know what you think about my list, let me know your lists. Remember to leave a like if you liked that video. If you didn't, don't. I'm back with the Walking Dead playthrough, so it's on my channel. I already recorded episode 1 of season 2, so have a look if you like Walking Dead. If you don't, have a look anyway. Thanks for watching. This was Ola from Stop Me All channel.